I thought you said
Just
Perp
gonna
was
do
going to
this
be
live.
here.
Perp should be here as he sees the stream go live. Welcome everybody. It's back. YouTube's favorite villain, the villainous, the almighty. There's no introductions, no fancy little countdowns tonight. I am coming back to late night talks, full steam ahead. I might ruffle some feathers because I know certain circles, even though they say they don't follow me, I know they'll be watching me, and then especially watching this after this little subtitle that I put. But tonight, look, I want to preference something before we get started. I am not the guy to be attacking other channels or saying anything about other channels. I don't like to do that. Okay, I am totally that guy. But here's the thing.
It's rare. It's rare.
It's rare. Look, I've been staying at my own corner, minding my own lane. But lately, the bullshit has got to the point where I've had to say something because it's been this funny thing happening. Hey, Lady Blood Moon, if you guys don't know, that's the little dictator and the future ruler of the Phantom Zone.
What is up, Dictator Tot?
But tonight, I have some guests with me. Or a guest, and of course my co-host, but I have a guest who came here to help chop up a couple of topics that I feel like needs a little bit of nuance and not so much the blunt hammer approach I bring. Everybody welcome Mr. Daddy, a.k.a. Road to Wisdom, a.k.a. Comics Chat, a.k.a. The Man. What's up?
What's up, man? Thanks for the invite.
Oh, yeah.
Holy fuck. I had no idea he was Comics Chat.
Yes, I.
You're like, what was it? Fritz went by like several pseudonyms and had different titles. You got like a bunch of different titles now.
I only got two. I got Comic Chat and Road to Wisdom. I had to change that because I went in a spiritual direction and it was a little bit confusing compared what some of my people were responding back to me. So I changed the Road to Wisdom. So I only go by Comic Chat when I'm talking about particular comic book movies or maybe topics like this. So if you want to call me Danny, that's fine. But the Road to Wisdom is basically my channel.
So we brought you along tonight, and we're going to be hitting the topic. And I wanted to hit this myself because there's been a big explosion on the internet. Now, I've been a gamer for a while, PB games as well. Danny, do you game? Are you big into video games?
I like a couple that are my go-to when I do decide to play it, which is mainly there was recently a poll, the top 3 favorite games. Mine is any Tekken, any Mortal Kombat, and my favorite all-time favorite is Def Jam: The Fight for New York. I love that game.
Man, that's a deep cut. That's a pro.
My wife bought that for me 2 years ago, and I play it every chance I get.
That is fantastic. So you got some roots in here. Well, if you guys don't know, and I cover a lot more games on the alt channel. I haven't worked on it yet because I was getting my StreamYard back to where it was. But I do Marvel Snap things, but I also have been toying around with doing different games. But that isn't the point. But I play a lot of games. I like to play video games. PB is a big Pokemon.
Hold on, let's not sell yourself short here. You like to waste money on games. You're like, yeah, but the skin for my mobile app looks fucking amazing.
Yes, you could say I add to the problem. Microtransaction is a talk for another day. Yes, I am part of
that. That is fair.
But today we are going to talk about ignorance because I've seen a lot of channels. A lot of them channels we all know and love them.
Whoa, hold on. Ignorance, this sounds like it'll be a blissful stream.
Oh yes. So there's a lot of channels out there. You guys know the channels, the Geeks to Gamers and things like that. They've decided to take on a topic to champion a cause of ignorance. And today we're going to talk about this backlash with Ubisoft's new game because I feel like despite the tag Geeks and Gamers, I don't feel like there's a whole lot of gaming, especially with the new stuff. And B, I feel like the people who are talking
I don't think there's a whole lot of geekness going on over
there. But I also feel like the nuance to this discussion has been missing. What's up, Lemon Pie? How are you? Welcome to the channel. We're going to
What's
get
up?
spicy tonight. But I've been hearing talk, and now I've been hearing talk, and I'm not going to lie. And you guys know, if you've been following me, look, we're not about the wokeness and all this and the pandering, whatever you want to call it. But I like to consider myself somewhere in the middle. And I've been hearing a lot of misinformation going around about a new product coming out. So there's a new game, Assassin's Creed Shadows. And I want to kind of pull up the website and then show you guys everything. If Ubisoft decides to let their dude, Ubisoft, man. See, if we're gonna rage about this, we need to rage about other things about
No,
Ubisoft.
I'm gonna
Like their
fucking
video
rage about the fact that, okay, I'm gonna ask Danny because he's a neutral third party. Do you say Ubisoft or Ubisoft?
Probably Ubisoft. That's how it sounds to me.
I always say Ubisoft.
Yeah.
I think it's a very confusing thing. So, despite everybody, and I want to just start preface this. This isn't just a geeks and gamers thing. I feel like they've latched onto this algorithm, but I'm also a little bit disappointed in the gaming community too. Now, I understand both sides of these arguments. It's a very touchy subject. A lot of people drawing swords in both directions, but I want to bring up a point that a lot of people have made a big ass stink because it was revealed in the trailer.
What the fuck is this game?
Assassin's Creed Shadows is based in Japan, but what's this, PB? There's a black samurai. Uh-oh. There's
Oh
a black
no!
samurai and a woman samurai. Holy shit. They've gone, whoa.
Wait, well, hold on, wait a second. I haven't played a whole lot of Assassin's Creed, but didn't they already have a female protagonist?
Yes, and they had a black antagonist too for Assassin's Creed 3 DLC.
No,
so
what?
This is nothing
Okay,
new.
I'm sure everybody's like, oh, well, the number of black people in Japan when Assassin's Creed was taking place, it's like, wait a second. Assassin's Creed is a fucking video game, which to me means it's in the alternate universe of whatever the fucking universe is that your video game created. And I don't care if there was only one fucking black guy in Japan for 10,000 years. He became a fucking samurai, and I bet you he's going to be fucking awesome.
So let me get your take on that before I go into the legitimate history, because there is history behind this character, and I will explain that in the next article I bring up.
I did a little research before I came on here, and it said that there was actually a guy that was back then, I think in the 1500s, if I'm not mistaken. They're not sure whether or not this individual came from Africa and came over there, whether or not he was a slave or not. But my research and what I did a little bit on it was saying that basically that this guy back then, the word samurai was used very loosely. Basically, it was like if you are proficient with a weapon, then they call you a samurai. And he worked for his feudal lord in Japan and stuff. And
not just any feudal lord, Danny, but the man back in the day, the man who was actually leading a rebellion against the government, because your boy, most people don't know, I'm a historical villain. I'm Kryptonian. I've been around for thousands of years. Anyways, that's not the point. Actually, Nobunaga was the one he worked for. Anybody know who Nobunaga was? I'm sure you do, because if you ever played a game, Nobunaga was one of the top generals in the feudal era of Japan and led a rebellion against the government during the transition of the Japanese government.
What fucking video game was I supposed to play to learn that piece of history?
Dude, any fighting? What's that fighting game with all of them in it? Fuck, I forgot. He's in a lot of stuff.
Fighter?
I'm pretty sure he's made a guest appearance there too. But it's another one where you fight these hordes of armies and shit. I'll look it up. But
was he in Clay Fighter on the Super Nintendo? I love me some Clay Fighter.
But no, so Chillmonger, I knew you would love this topic. What are your thoughts
What's up, Chill?
Hello.
The ignorance surrounding this topic, especially from YouTubers who I'm 100% sure aren't going to buy this game, play this game, or fucking play video games in general.
I think it's upsetting because as an Assassin's Creed fan, you know, you got to get every single one because that's your thing. It's your fandom of this. And now, oh my God, I have to be one of those people. I think that's what their gripe is. If this was just a regular game that had nothing to do with Assassin's Creed or any franchise, it's like, yeah, there's a bunch of black video games I don't play, you know, because I don't have to play them. But they're making me be a... Oh, okay, what's my problem with this? Yeah, it's inaccurate. That's my issue. It's, of course, it's made up, and I love how ridiculous they appear to be, and everyone calling them out on it, because because it maybe I shouldn't do that because Danny might disagree with the whole race swap stuff, but I'll do it anyways. Sometimes when a character is race swapped, they actually have something legitimate to talk about. They can be like, "What's wrong with being white?" or "What's wrong with being Japanese?" You know, but this is based off of something that is real. Yasuke exists. And that adds to how ridiculous they look when they're complaining. Because I know when they complain because they're just hateful people who don't want to tolerate skin this dark or even that dark. Am I pointing at you? Yeah.
I agree. I agree with that statement, Chill. I've always been like, if it's canon, you can't grab if you want to talk about stuff is not canon. This is canon. So if someone tries to race swap or gender bend with a non-fictional character, then I agree with you 100%. That's off base. But if it's fictional, and some fictional characters are off limits. I'll give you my example. In the comic book, there is a run where there is a white character called the Black Panther, but he's not from Wakanda. He is, I think, like in the urban city, if memory serves me correctly. But I don't think a white person playing Black Panther, it just would not fit. Like the same way, let me see. I'm trying to think of a white character or a black person. I hear this talk about the guy that plays on on Black Panther, the big guy that
he Winston Duke wanted to be Batman.
I don't see that happening. Could it happen? I don't remember even seeing a storyline in the comic books doing that. But if there is, I guess they could do a version of that, but it wouldn't have the same effect. So I agree with you in this particular scenario that if there is history, if there is this is pulling from canon, I don't see the big deal.
What's some of the best excuses given that are like, oh, maybe there's a point here, or do they all just sound ridiculous for hating on this?
Now, I've heard some good excuses. I've heard people say
bullshit
that they were hoping for an Asian sort of flavor. They were waiting for this for a while. But we had Ghost of Tsushima, people. You can go and fucking play that. Bunch of Asians right around there. You could be happy with that. I get that you wanted it to be more in line with that. But the female protagonist is Asian, just in that Assassin's Guild in Asia, because apparently they're all over the fucking world. Which, if you follow the games, the story's already kind of stretched out. And anybody who knows, they pull from vague parts of history, but they keep the figures the same. And I can honestly say that playing the game, for the most part, they keep the essence of who the person was historically. They just add these little stories that you could play because, video game, we got to be entertained. But I wanted to pull up something because a long time ago, a young villain went to the Smithsonian, and I could have sworn I saw a mural or something of this figure that apparently doesn't exist and was totally fictionalized. And so I looked up the Smithsonian's Institute's website and their magazine. And unless they're fucking lying, because they've got all of these things who people who are writing fake articles and stuff. This is from, and I got the link below if anybody who wants to read this article yourself. It's a real article. It was written by a real person. January 10th, 2023. Because now they wanted to come and correct the history. Who was Yasuke, Japan's first black samurai, who was in the late 16th century, the Amatic warrior who fought alongside the feudal lord dubbed the Great Unifier. And that's Nobunaga. If you guys don't know, Nobunaga's a big deal. So not only was he buddies and actually a legitimate samurai, but he was legitimized by one of the most important figures in Japanese history. This is a man who helped shape and unify the clans of Japan. And he was his right-hand man who helped him unify. But it's kind of funny that nobody wants to bring this point up in history. And once again, we're pretending like this figure didn't happen. Like, everybody gives Nobunaga credit, but nobody likes to talk about the right-hand man who helped him. I don't know. Kind of funny. Kind of suspicious. Little weird. People are getting bent out of shape about it. Not only that, but Netflix also did a show called Yasuke, the Black Samurai, and nobody even fucking wrote a review on it. I watched it. It's a great series. Go check it out. I might actually do a review on it. But no, because it's anime, nobody wrote a review. Nobody even posted a hate video. And why is this? And me and Daddy were talking about this offline. Trend chasing people. These fucking people do what they do. They don't give a shit about whether they were black, white, or anything else. I don't even think they're racist or they give a fuck about that. I don't even think they have a stance on it. This is algorithm, YouTube clickbaiting, rage clicks, fucking stoking their fucking crazed audience into a frenzy for no reason and inaccurate misinformation. And that is what fired me up and what made me want to do this, because I'm a big fan of history, and I feel like I got pissed off about Netflix doing that bullshit Cleopatra show because that was historically inaccurate, and there's facts and shit to prove that. This is historically accurate. There are murals. There are paintings. There is shit done by the shogunate's fucking painter with this person in the portrait. And here's the thank you, Joe. Here it is right here. Why is nobody talking about this? I don't see
I didn't
no
know it
rate videos
existed.
about this.
It came out in 2021. There's already 6 episodes out. Does it cover everything accurately here?
For the most part, you know, it's anime. They throw a little flavor in there, but yeah, for the most part, they show you a lot of the.
What I read, they said this guy was like almost 6'6", 300-something pounds, and had the strength of 10 men. Is that a little exaggeration, or is that accurate?
From what I heard, in a mural they show him sumo wrestling, so I'm gonna say that's pretty fucking accurate. Now, I didn't live back there and nobody else did, so they do preference that nobody knows exactly, but he earned a reputation.
Let me ask you this. Is this loosely based, this Yasuke, on, because no one really had as much negative feedback from Afro Samurai. Is it something loosely based?
Afro Samurai was great.
It's because nobody wants to hate on Samuel L. Jackson. He's too lovable.
Yeah, but I didn't see the frenzy and the hate and all this craziness about that. So
because
what's the difference?
Was preference as being
the difference that I see. The whole reason why we brought this up is because back then the hate algorithm just
yeah. So
like, how many clicks are you gonna get because you say, "Oh, this is fucking bullshit. I can't believe they did that." I mean, there's very, very few characters that are like, "Oh, well, it makes zero fucking sense." Like, the two that come to my mind is Black Panther. Why would that be a white guy? And Snow White. Why would that be a black girl? It doesn't make any sense. I just need it to make a little bit of sense. It's like, oh, there's a black guy in Japan, and he fucks some shit up. Here's a video game you get to play as him. I'm so fucking pissed. Like, what in the fuck are you getting hung up on, people?
And here's the interesting thing. Based on the Netflix show, because I believe Road to Wisdom, you asked about this, they said they actually referenced the show in this article that the Smithsonian wrote. The year was 1582. The flames engulfed surrounding the fallen inside the temple. A black samurai named Yasuke has a tense conversation with Japanese Daimyo Odu Nobunaga. While Nobunaga is resigned to his fate, Yusuke remains hopeful the pair can evade the enemies and live to fight another day. So this is just a quote from the thing. Though Netflix series introduced several mythical elements, including giant flying robots, magical armies, and weaponized laser beams, the broad strokes of its depiction of the Hanju incident is historically accurate. Yusuke was an African warrior in the employ of Nobunaga, a powerful feudal lord known at the time as the Great Unifier. During Japan's Seigoki period, the first black samurai, he was the Nobunaga's side when the daimyo died, according to the popular lore. Nobunaga tasked Yusuke with returning his head to his son.
Wait, it
Beyond
says domino, not daimo.
daimyo, yeah. Look, I'm
I
not
was
gonna
gonna
get all
say,
into
I
it.
was just watching some TV show where they were talking to some freaking, I don't know, I guess Asian gangster, and I think it was an episode of Law and Order just happened to be on. And I was like, oh, I never heard that fucking term before. And then you said fucking domino, and I was like, that can't be right. And I'm not even looking at the screen.
In
Beyond
Book of
the
Boba Fett, he was the daimyo.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, that too.
Beyond the relationship with this famous warrior, Yusuke was a barrier-breaking figure in his own right. Through his life, though his life is poorly documented, his story speaks to the surprising cultural connection that exists in the 16th century Japan. Yusuke crossed geographic, cultural, and linguistic barriers to create, whether by necessity or design, a new life in a foreign land, says Natalie Doan, a historian at the University of Oxford. Not much is known about Yusuke's early life. Some historians speculate he was born in Mozambique, Ethiopia, or
Nigeria.
Like those are like
Nigeria.
three very far away places from each other. They're not neighboring countries.
They do know he was enslaved and trafficked as a child. He was a free man by the time he met Alessandro Valguera. I'm not Italian, I'm sorry. He was an Italian missionary, though. The duo traveled from India to Japan in 1579, where Yusuke essentially serving as the dude's bodyguard. And from there, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I got it on the bottom. You guys can read it if this fascinates you, because it was very fascinating to me. But long story short, he was bodyguarding for this mercenary. He caught the eye of Nobunaga because of his brute strength, determination, and his loyalty. Nobunaga was like, hey, why don't you come with me? I'll teach you the ways of the samurai. Basically became so close to Nobunaga that, and this is kind of sick, but keep in mind, folks, Japanese people watch anime. They're wild over there. Anyways, he said when he died, the highest honor was to return his head to his son, because, I don't know, some kind of think piece, scary shit. I don't know. You meditate and say you're going to revenge your family. I don't fucking know. But the point being is it was one of the highest honors you could receive, and he gave it to this foreigner.
No, I have an important question. How do you revenge your family?
Avenge your family.
Oh,
I'm the
I'm
villain.
well aware, Joe. No, I understand. It was just a translation error from Kryptonian to American.
Yes, I'm Kryptonian American. You know how much hate I get, all right? People talk about being from another planet. Try being from another planet, okay? Life is hard out here.
Let me ask you this question. The name of this company that's creating this game is Ubisoft, correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you think that they intentionally did this to get further heat on their game and to cause this controversy and to make it even, or just something that just happened to come along? Because to me, it looks like it might have been pre-planned because it's getting an awful lot of heat.
Now, I'm going to say this. Do I think that they're innocent? Because even a broken clock is right twice a day. Now, do I think some people's point of Ubisoft doing this as a play to get some eyes because the video game industry is taking a pounding because they want to charge you a fucking $100 for a game for 3-day pass and all this bullshit? And yes, like an idiot, I buy it, but that's not the point. The point is they are charging more for games, but sales
No,
are
the
going
point
down.
is, you're gonna waste all of your money on fucking DLC.
Yes, but no, because when you buy the $100 game, you get free DLC. So fuck you,
Oh,
I'm
you
ahead of
get
the curve.
$100? Did you just fucking say $100 for a video game?
Oh yeah, I saw one for $100. Now, in all seriousness, I've never paid that much because Bitchy would literally, she'd cut off my head and you would be delivering it to the little dictator.
Well, if I'm a non-gamer and I came up with that right here, 25 minutes to the show, don't you think the experts and the people, the think tanks and those companies are saying, well, what can we do to bring eyes? What can we do to drive the gamers to our game? Because my son, he's a gamer and he played Assassin's Creed, but I think it kind of tapered off. Correct me if I'm wrong. I loosely follow it, but it didn't have that same, I guess, excitement and energy for the last few years. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay. I don't want to correct you because I'm very interested in your idea, but I want to take it to the next level, which is anybody here upset with the fact that if that is true, they essentially exploited the algorithm just to get some frickin', like you said, eyes on the game?
It can't be ignored. Everything like that is deliberate. But how many Assassin's Creeds have there been where the guy's skin tone isn't this dark? There's been like 10 of them, maybe. They were due eventually to go somewhere else. And maybe they looked around and they said, well, there's no African assassins. What about this Japanese version? We could do Yasuke. And I think they had to have thought about it. So Danny's like,
no, and that's where I'm going to say no, because they did do one, and it was for Assassin's Creed Black Flag, the DLC, where you played the dude who was a slave and you played his
That's not a whole game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it was
okay.
It was a good bit, and he's in the actual game.
I guarantee if you go back and research, these bad boys went and they trademarked that person before everything and put things in place. And then the perfect time, boom. That's what comes to my mind. And maybe it's the cop in me that's thinking that. Maybe I'm.
I mean, here's the thing. I think there's two main issues. Do I think you could be right, Danny? 1,000%, because Ubisoft, let's not treat them like an angel. They're a corporation. They're pieces of shit. I've seen the shitty things they've done with their games through the year. They're all about that money. So yes, I do think that factors in. But two, I don't think that doesn't expose how hateful, resentful, or if they're not hateful or resentful, trend chasing these reputable sources who are supposed to be bringing people information are. I think both sides in this have their own things, but I think the people are getting the wrong answer and getting riled up, and I think the gaming community is pretty important to me. I met
that's not Ubisoft's problem or issue if the gamers or the people that the YouTubers are going out with pitchforks and torches. That's not their. It's just it's like how you said in wartime, unfortunate casualty. It's casualty of war. So that I don't blame Ubisoft for that, but I think it's kind of evil, sick genius if they did do that. What I'm saying?
I mean, if they did do that,
well, I have
as a villain, I respect that.
I got one question. Is anybody upset on the other side of the coin that they did a black man but didn't have it take place in Africa?
I'm not.
No, there's nobody.
Is anybody upset? You can find somebody on the internet upset, but it doesn't.
Well, I mean, there's no hubbub coming from the other side. It's just all of the fucking white supremacists. I don't fucking get it.
I was just on this side page of the Assassin's Creed Wikipedia, and I'm not sharing it. So I'm sharing it now. Assassin's Creed, they were all like Italian games, right? Mm-hmm. And then you can kind of see,
for the most part,
that's one of these points. Just based off the covers, you're gonna see a flag. There it is, the Great Britain flag right there at the top left of the image. Do you see it or do you not see it?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
see
I
it.
see it.
Okay, yeah. So you see that. So I would think that in 2015 they went, we can't just keep things in Italy. We got to switch things around. Wherever Origins is.
That's Egypt there.
Egypt.
So that they've been
Egypt.
traveling. So after all this traveling, it looks like Greek.
That's Rome there look like.
Valhalla would be what, Norse mythology?
Yep, Norse mythology.
I mean, we were due to go and get diverse and get somebody of a different skin tone, and we got the lady as well as what's his name, Yasuke. And it's like fitting. It's like it's not surprising.
Yeah.
It's not egregious. It's not, this is our first chance to go somewhere else. It was like the sixth try at going somewhere else, and finally we got somebody with dark skin.
That's a very good point.
I don't see the story.
I agree with what you're saying, but it makes you wonder why so much negative energy.
Abby?
You saw all these different ethnicities. Yes, that's right. But we get this negative, crazy energy because of the skin tone of me and Chill. So I don't understand that.
Well, you can't say me necessarily. I probably look more like the Egyptian protagonist than
me. And it's just crazy.
Hey, Jay, good to see you. Send Jay some love. She's not feeling well. That's why she couldn't be on here tonight. I'm sure she'd love to talk about this topic. We hope you get better here on the channel.
We're feeling better.
But
what's up, Jackie?
And you know me and PB Chill, you've been on and chopped it up with me about different racially sensitive topics and stuff. We try to approach this thing as delicately as I can, being a sledgehammer, but I gotta just call it out. And I'm just gonna say it. This feels fucking racist to me. This whole debate feels fucking racist to me. I'm just gonna say it. And I'm the guy who called that out, but it's kind of fucking suspicious, first of all, that the white fucking YouTubers call this shit out. Nobody sees a problem with that. First thing. Second thing, that if you had this fucking issue and you want to champion fucking Asian rights and all this bullshit that you're claiming, and it should be an Asian in Asia, there's a fucking female in the trailer who's clearly Asian. It's not like it's just a black dude. And according to Ubisoft, if you look on the same webpage, there is a co-op and there is the ability to pick which character you want to be. And now the new thing is, being that this bullshit is being debunked, they're trying to go to the gay angle because Ubisoft stated you can choose which person you want to fall in love with. And I would say fucking play Mass Effect, because you could do the same thing there. Guess what? You could be guy on guy.
Fuck yeah, it's got that fucking red-headed chick in the game. She's fucking hot.
Mass Effect, you could bang an alien. So where the fuck were you people during this? This is my issue with these fucking YouTubers and this fucking rage clicking and all this bullshit, and especially because I'm passionate about history. Where the fuck were you guys for all these other injustices? Like, the whole Cleopatra thing. Maybe there were a couple channels talking about that. That was more egregious to me than this bullshit, because we have documents about that. This is documented the way that Ubisoft's portraying it, and they're just doing what they've always done. They're going to a different nation. They wanted to add a little spice to it, so they threw in this character, and he was obscured. And Ubisoft, if you look through all of Assassin's Creed, the person you play as, well, the first one was made up, but the second person and the other person were actual figures that were very underutilized. They weren't known by a lot of people. They always go into these figures that a lot of people don't talk about. And who the fuck knew about Black Samurai? I didn't know it was a big thing until this. Like, I think this is good. They're actually pointing out a part of history that happened that nobody talks about, that now millions of gamers will get to see and realize it's a fucking thing. And here we are being fucking ignorant ass babies and talking about how woke shit is. Really? It baffles my fucking mind. I don't know. Before I fucking change this, because I have a heart attack, I'm going to get some final thoughts here. Comic Chad, what do you think? You got it?
I think I agree with you. It definitely sounds racist. It's sad that we're in 2024 and still battling some of these same crazy things, but hey, it's the way of the world. I agree with you that it is shedding some light, and one of the biggest arguments I hear a lot of YouTubers say is the material that's coming out now is not original, and that is lazy writing, and it's not canon, or they are destroying canon. And then they get something that is canon, and then they rip it apart. So it's kind of like a damn if you do, damn if you don't situation. So it's just sad. Maybe these individuals that are doing all this wrecking of all this stuff. They need to go ahead and write their own stuff, and let's see how perfect it is, and see how others critique their work.
Oh yeah, because it's funny how much, and I've been guilty of doing this myself too when I'm critiquing a movie. It kind of makes you think about it. It's like that's part of what we do, right? In our channels or whatever, we critique shit. But we also have to remember, I write, and go check out Books by Jay because she writes. Yes, I'm doing a shameless promo for my friend. Go pick up her book on Amazon. She's a great fucking writer, and she's inspired me to write. But I write too, and I could tell you on the other end.
If you were a professional, you would have shared her link just now.
Oh, okay. Well, fuck me.
If you do that, you're gonna forget your point.
God damn it. The link's in the description. She's in there. Go check it out. The link is in the description with everybody else's link, except for Chill because he surprised me. But I will link his channel. But yeah, I find it just fucking like with writing myself. It's easy for us to critique, but at the same part, you know how many developers, and this is a shame for the people who are coding, they're making worlds, they're passionate about this, they make the music, the voice actors, and all the shit that goes through with it. You are shitting on these people who have nothing to do with this. Maybe the company is doing this as a play. Maybe they are trying to draw eyes, but I think it's equally shitty that you're also hurting people who are passionate about this, who has spent years and months of their life away from their families. There's crunching in this industry, which means long hours. And fuck you, Ubisoft. I still know you guys crunch. That isn't the point. I have to do a separate video on that. But there are people who work 60, 70 hours a week on these for months on end, burn out, barely see their families, and you're denigrating their work and shitting on everybody who's actually taking time to do this. Chill, what do you think of this, and what are your final thoughts?
Last final thoughts, that no matter what the moral reason for why this was selected, the fans and everyone who made a stink of it were not part of that decision process. They were the outcome of their own beliefs and their reputation. And I mean, and their, not reputation, but their beliefs. Okay. Oh, I just slipped my mind. That was really important too. Oh yeah, there's the people, the fans were gonna say the best of the fans who are grifters are gonna be like, they're trying to call us racist just because we're trying to criticize the video game. There's nothing wrong with criticizing a game, guys. Huh? It's you're not all racist or hateful, and they those are the words that they use against us. You see that? Just to create a shield for themselves. And that's not true. It's true for Star Wars. It is true because I feel like Kathleen Kennedy,
and I'm gonna bring up Star Wars later. Don't worry, we got Kathleen Kennedy to talk about. I'm sure everyone's gonna love that.
But I want everyone to be like, on the ball and looking at the fake victimization that they're gonna use to try to defend their position of being anti-Yasuke.
And you know what? I 100% agree. That's a great point. PB, what do you think about this shit? Because we know you are an endangered species. You're ginger, which might be more rare than anybody on this panel. We've seen the ginger genocide.
That's probably true. Like, at least the Little Mermaid still had red hair. I'm okay with that. I didn't fucking watch it because I don't give a fuck. Like, I watched the original because I like all the animated ones. Some are better than others. Anyway, this whole fucking thing, all of the rage built on this topic is 100% racist and recast T'Challa.
Wow.
Oh wow, that was
I got ambushed.
I ambushed so bad he had to go though. Oh man, that was a sneak attack. I didn't even see that coming.
But at least we're on the same boat when it comes to that T'Chaka X-Men 97 stuff.
Wait, what the fuck happened in X-Men 97?
Well, me and Danny, oh god, comic chat forever, yuck. But in X-Men 97, there was a cameo of all these other superheroes like Daredevil, Cloak and Dagger, and we saw Black Panther, but they called him his dad's name T'Chaka, not T'Challa. And it was like useless. They just don't want to show you T'Challa. They'll show you his dad, his sister, anyone but T'Challa.
That's fucking weird.
I think Jay put it best. She says, I just want people to be kind and stop being fueled by hatred. It takes less energy to show love than it does negativity. And I couldn't agree more. And on that topic, I still got some spice left. And I want to talk about a movie that I loved. And I'm going to go recommend that you see it. But it's the newest attack because tonight's a night about these fucking YouTubers. They've gotten under my skin. And let's talk about how Furiosa is flopping, the new Mad Max, because apparently when they went girl boss, right, they got woke, went broke, right? But I want to preface this by saying, first of all, Mad Max Fury Road is one of my fucking favorite movies that came out that year, and probably in the Mad Max saga, I will make this bold statement, it's my favorite. Even over the originals, because I love them, I respect them for the time, but they,
This movie?
But yeah, this new one.
Okay, but
box
no,
It's gonna
here's
be hard to beat Thunderdome, bro.
No. I was talking about Fury Road, the one,
Oh, okay.
the last one.
I got you. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Like,
thought
don't
you
get me
said the
wrong, I love
original.
Thunderdome, but Fury
who's the
Road
best
is
who's the best character in Fury Road?
I would have to say Nicholas Holtz, what was he?
Crazy wacky guy?
Yeah, where he's like, what a day! What a beautiful day! That's my favorite fucking quote. And and they just fucking ride into that storm. Dude, he was a beast. But anyways, I saw this, and here's the weird part about this movie that I want to bring up. All of these same fucking people gave the movie a positive review. Go check Geeks and Gamers. Go fucking check Near Jog. Go check fucking Critical Drunk and everyone. And then the next week, they make a video talking about Furiosa is flopping because people are tired of girl boss. Pick a fucking lane. Either you like the movie and you think that it's good, or you think it's woke and it's gonna fail. But I find it fucking super confusing when you
Whoa. I can't think that it's woke and it's going to fail? Why can't I think both of those things? Why are these mutually exclusive?
Because to me, if you take a look at everything they've rated, the woke stuff has always got poor ratings. Nothing that they consider woke gets a good rating. I mean, just go check any of the videos, right? But this got a good rating. But now, because it's failing in the box office, it's this, oh shit, well, I got to backtrack because I got to keep the algorithm going, right? I got to keep the people.
No, but I mean, I'm quite confident that I can believe that something is woke and it's going to succeed. It happens all the time.
And something can not be woke.
We're using the word woke incorrectly too often here. Woke has to do with black issues, awareness, nothing to do with a female protagonist in Anna Taylor-Joy.
Exactly. Also, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I just want to say I don't necessarily agree about the female protagonist thing. I think that ever since the pandemic, movies overall have taken a hit, and I don't think they're going to recover unless it's something that's very niche, something that is very directed for something and gets a lot of publicity behind it, and something that somebody wants to see that really looks new and interesting.
Deadpool.
I think about another 3 to 5 years, theaters are going to be a thing of the past. I just think they can't recover from that pandemic. People got too lazy. They got too comfortable. Prices are and I give you a prime example. I've never seen a movie in IMAX. Now, there's an IMAX movie for me that's 1 hour, and I pay roughly $25-$30 so I go see it. There's a movie that's 10 minutes away from me that's not IMAX, and I only pay $10 to go in there. I'm not going to drive an hour to get a high quality movie. And in some of these movies, because I'm boycotting Deadpool, MCU movies because of the Jonathan Majors thing. That's just my personal choice. I'm not driving to see that when I can watch it in the comfort of my home. If I want popcorn, I ain't gonna pay $10 for it. If I want a soda, I ain't gonna pay $12 for it. If I want nachos, I ain't gonna pay $15 for it. If I want to take my family, I'm breaking $100 right now, easy.
And in 60 days, it'll be on Disney Plus.
Exactly. So
Well,
that's what's hurting. That's what hurting a lot of these movies.
This
will be on some streaming service. I guarantee you.
Oh yeah, it will be. And Danny, I want to say I 102% agree with what you're saying because the only reason I went to see this was because I got an early screener for Furiosa and In a Violent Nature, which by the way is great. If you're a Jason fan, please go and see In a Violent Nature. Just be prepared. There's a lot of walking. You'll get what I mean by that when you see the movie. Anyways, I wanted to read Jay's points too because she had a couple
like Batman style walking.
No, like Friday the 13th, but picture one of those handheld movies back in the day, but instead of it being shaky cam, they follow directly behind the person as he's walking and doing his murdering thing. It's almost like you're walking with the killer.
Oh,
it's hard to explain, but
no, I don't want to look at some guy's ass for 90 minutes. But if you told me that frickin'
no, it's not his ass. It's the burnt back of his head and his big frame. There is some ass shots if you're into that. Anyways, Jay McCarthy says, I just want to be kind of stop fueling. No, this is the one that says, I don't care who gets carried as long as they can act the part with the highest respect and attention possible. As a writer, if someone made a movie of my writing, that's how I'd approach it. Or she said, casted, not carried. Not carried. And then, welcome, Shifty-gasm, says the pandemic conditioned folks into waiting for streaming. Plus, we're in the middle of some of the worst inflation in my lifetime. Groceries are insane. I agree, dude. Dude, I spend so much fucking money on food right now, and people can't afford it. Yes, and this is what I wanted to bring up because you could see the shift because this is where these hate stations, and I try to tell y'all, this is just for clicks. It's just for views. They jumped the wrong trend, not realizing this movie was going to fail. But I think it's failing for two reasons, as Danny said. It's a niche movie that's very creative. It's very artistic. It's not going to appeal to everyone. It's a Mad Max film that's rated R, so you cut your demographic because your kids and fucking stupid teenagers who are on their goddamn phone while you're trying to watch the fucking movie aren't going to be in there. So they've narrowed their audience already. And unless it's a wildly popular IP, which Mad Max is very niche. Like, people know about it, but it's very niche. Yeah. So you're not talking about a movie that can be made for $200 million and break globally like 500, 600 million. It's going to be a struggle. And I don't even think we've seen the figures the movie's going to pull because it's only the fucking second week.
I think
and it's not released internationally.
If they're going to breathe life into this, they're going to have to bring back,
Mel Gibson.
Mel Gibson in some shape, form, or fashion. The same way the Terminator IP used Arnold, they're going to have to do something like that. But he's going to have to be like superior badass. I mean, like something we never seen before to breathe life back into this.
I don't really know much about it, but Mel played Mad Max and Tom Hardy played Mad Max?
Yes.
Yeah.
So they're same universe. It's just like a few years later they just recast. That's all.
I don't think he was Mad Max. I think he was somebody else.
No, Tom Hardy was Mad Max. They recast it because of Mel Gibson's issues.
But everything like from those old movies counted, right? It was just like
it was still canonically correct. How they made it look, they kind of just dirtied Tom Hardy up, made him a little bit gruffer, and just that time passed, and this was Max.
All right. No,
and you know what? I don't care because Tom Hardy did a great job. I mean, he's no Mel Gibson, but he's still.
Yeah, no.
But he still fit the bill. Like you know, I see Tom Hardy rushing at me. I'm gonna shit my pants.
Wait, so okay, I agree that he's not Mel Gibson, but can you imagine Mel Gibson as Venom?
Or Bane? Let me tell you about the wastelands.
I think if Mel Gibson was younger, he could do it, but he has an distinct advantage. I mean, there's no way he can get in the shape that he could to play Bane. And there's no way he could play Venom at his age. But if he was a similar ages, I think he could bulk up and do it. I think he's a better.
For Venom, I was more concerned of the comedy aspect, like when he's essentially talking to himself.
Yeah.
Shiftgasm had actually a pretty good tinfoil theory here. Said, don't know if Mel fits into these films, as there's a super strong theory that Tom Hardy's Max is actually the kid from the second film in the Road Warrior. And that's an interesting theory. Although I would have to debunk that and say,
Whoa. So, is that like Mad Max would be like the Dread Pirate Roberts?
I guess so. But so Cho, what did you bring this?
The
you brought
budget
this
for
up.
Mad Max Fury Road was 150 million, which is a decent
Oh,
size
that was my
big budget.
guess.
And just like you said, it's a niche audience because even though it was critically acclaimed, the box office was 380 worldwide. That's not good. That's probably why it took 9 years to do a sequel, because there was no money in it. And of course, with all the years passing and Mad Max popularity, you would think that, everyone would be thriving and chomping at the bit to pay money to see another Mad Max, except it didn't have the lead character in it. So that's probably why. If you look at the Mad Max now, we were just talking about Furiosa, right? Where is it?
Furiosa.
There.
Go ahead.
So she got 71.
That's rough.
71 million. But let's keep in mind it hasn't opened internationally in all markets yet. There's still a couple of markets it hasn't reached quite yet. So
another thing.
Well, whatever. So even if you double the number, it's still not a lot for something that costs 150 million. If you only made 140 and it's got apparently massive drop off, like nobody's going to go and see it in 2 weeks.
Look, there's no China or Japan.
Yeah, that's
there's another thing too. There's another thing too. That movie is 2 hours and 28 minutes. That's a long time.
Oh, if you want to get my thoughts, go check out my non-spoiler review for Furiosa. It's on my channel. You can go check it out on my playlist. Anyways, shameless promotion for myself, but I do go over that facts how to chat. You know what I'm fucking getting sick and tired of? A little side tangent. I'm tired of all these fucking movies, which is why I loved In a Violent Nature. I am tired of going and sitting for 2 fucking hour movies, man. Like, people don't want every movie to be an epic. Like, it's cool for certain movies, but Marvel was the worst thing to happen as far as run times, because after these studios found out that people will sit through a 3-hour movie without the context that this had been building for years, they just decide, fuck it, green light, and Zack Snyder's in fucking heaven. Every goddamn movie he makes is a fucking 3-hour epic. Right, PB? We sat through the fucking shit show called, what was that? Rebel Moon bullshit.
Oh, Lord.
God,
I haven't
that
even
shit
watched,
was free and I wanted my money back.
I haven't even watched the second one all the way because I'm like, I can't do it.
Dude, don't. Just
I stopped at like the first
30,
40 minutes. But I will say
the first one, I thought the first one was pretty good. The second one was pretty bad. I was like, what the fuck happened?
Oh yeah, go check out my review. Yes, Chris Hemsworth is a scene stealer. He's the best part. That man chews scenery like it's a fucking steak. It is majestic. That fucking beard is majestic. And the best part is, because he's Australian, he uses his fucking accent. And if you guys don't know, these are Australian movies. So it's kind of like paying tribute to where it came from, because George Miller was actually the creator of every Mad Max. This guy's got to be fucking, 80 now? And he's still doing it. It's amazing. But he did it as a nod to the older Mad Max films. So Chris Hemsworth is fucking amazing. As soon as he steps on scene, like, man, you pay attention. And he's devious but likable. Like, he does horrible shit in the movie. Like, brutally violent, horrid, like a lot of bad shit. Shit that if I say I'll get demonetized, he goes there. But then he says a line and you're like, I can't hate you. I can't hate Chris. I can't hate Thor. He's too lovable.
Yeah.
He's like Thor in Wasteland. No.
I think I'm gonna wait.
No, but
streaming.
But I wanted to bring up this article because they brought up the points you said, Comic Chat, because they're trying to figure out why did it fail. And I want to keep in mind too, this isn't the only movie that's failed. There's a lot like The Fall Guys, which was excellent. I really think that movie was a really good movie. It was really funny. I really enjoyed it. I thought the stunts were great. A lot of practical effects.
Like Roadhouse failed too, and I didn't think it was terrible.
But Roadhouse wasn't released in theaters, so that was an Amazon exclusive.
Yeah, I'm just saying, but it didn't get the punch that they thought it was going to get.
No, but yeah, I agree. It was still good, and so we're not just seeing it. There's a lot of things that aren't doing good, and I think it's like you said, because I mean, look, Memorial Day itself is supposed to be the biggest day, right?
Exactly.
The big 3-day weekend, U.S. moviegoers, and Furiosa's box office earnings were 25.6 million, marked it as the lowest opening since the release of Casper in 1995. Which, fuck you, Casper was an amazing movie, and it's an underrated gem, and now people fucking appreciate it. That isn't the point. To add insult to injury, the critically panned Garfield movie, which was a fucking slog. I hate that movie. It's going to be on my top 10 worst.
Which did a great job of advertising to cat lovers.
No, that wasn't Garfield, okay? Goddamn, now I'm starting on this rant. Chris Pratt is great. I like him. I never have a problem with him, but Chris Pratt is good for certain roles. Chris Pratt is not fucking Garfield. He would have fit as Odie. They could have did Odie talking in his mind, like a little young Odie, because they had him in the fucking movie. They could have had Chris Pratt play like his thoughts or whatever. But you could have got Bill Murray. Not only could you have gotten Bill Murray, but it would have canonically connected the rest of the Garfield movies. But instead, they got someone who's likable, who doesn't sound sarcastic or like a dick, to play a sarcastic, fat, dickish asshole cat, and it just doesn't work. And the fucking plot is so fucking stupid. I can't even. Just check out my review. I read for like 30
I'm just
minutes
reading
on
the
it.
rest of the article, and it says other movies like Little Mermaid, Top Gun, Maverick. Are we gonna get mini reviews for those too when you get to reading that?
No, go check out my review.
Everything to tell me about Garfield and Chris Pratt and Bill Murray.
Sorry. Anyways, but while it's all too soon to call Furiosa a historical flop, yes, which is another thing that me and Perp talked about. Like, I think it's too early to say if a movie flopped. You could have strong word of mouth and boost its sales. Now, I don't see it making the numbers it needs to, but it could get close and then make up the difference on streaming. There's been heat for Hollywood to deliver the goods for the rest of the movie series with Inside Out 2, which I think is going to be trash fire. Quiet Place Day 1, Despicable Me 4, Twisters, Why, and of course my most anticipated film.
Well, you mean Twisters is going to be amazing?
I think it's going to be amazing, but I don't think it's going to make that much money.
Probably not.
Mediocre. The first trailer made the film look more CGI and green screen heavy compared to Fury Road, in which Miller received a nigh-on perfect fusion of digital and practical filmmaking, which that was my complaint in the film. It is too clean. It was too long of a wait, right? The other question is, did anyone need a prequel? Yes, because Anna Taylor-Joy is in it. Yes, I will always take anything with Anna Taylor-Joy in it. And then there's wider issues, which is Furiosa's underwhelming box office reflects the wider problems facing Hollywood and the cinema industry as a whole. Furiosa is the latest of a long line of underperforming movies, like this year's The Fall Guy, starring Ryan Reynolds and Ryan Gosling. Sorry,
there you go.
And Emily Blunt. That should be
Emily Blunt.
Yeah, it had Emily Blunt and Ryan Gosling. And Ryan Gosling.
I haven't had time to go see a fucking movie. Goddammit.
The main snag is watching habits. Since the pandemic, the wait time between a movie ending and its theatrical run and being released on digital is increasingly shortening. Streaming windows have now shrunk down to 6 weeks tops. And to go back to The Fall Guy, its poor box office ended with the announcement it would release on digital only 2 weeks after releasing in theaters. Its
Terrible.
shrinking wait time is causing a lot of audiences to stop spending money in favor of cheaper options. So I think when we're talking about this, and this is why I was getting on these channels again, because there's a lot more to this, and people, PB loves to say this. People seem to neglect numbers, right? And people's habits, and the numbers show that. Do you want to take a bunch of fucking kids to see Garfield in the theater, screaming and
Nope.
crying and running all over the place, and
Nope.
dropping popcorn everywhere, and you're saying, "Little Johnny, get the fuck back here before I swear to God," and then you have your other fucking child hiding in a fucking broom closet? Not saying that I've experienced this, but one time when I worked at the theater, I found a fucking kid hiding in my broom closet. How do you get into the broom closet? We don't know to this day, but there was a fucking little child in the fucking broom closet hiding from his parents. So do you think parents, with all of these challenges, are trying to corral their kids, pay $120 on the concessions just to sit down for an hour and a half movie, and then to drive back home, get their kids to bed or whatever, and do the day? Or do they wait and pay $20 on Amazon? They can fucking buy it if the kids like it, and you own it for life.
It being a kid's movie, it's easy to tell your kid, "Oh, we'll get it at home in a couple of months." For you, for like an adult movie, it's different. But for when you're making these purchases for your children, man, you can't wait to find an excuse to explain why this isn't necessarily needed to be bought right now, and they're not learning. That last point of the article that you were reading was the biggest point that there is about the wait, and they do this to themselves. I don't know why this movie is going to go straight to, well, not this movie, but the one they were talking about is going to be available digitally right soon afterwards. I would imagine because, like, well, why do another marketing campaign? It's already being advertised. Boom, now it's available digitally. I think they're trying to save, but what they're doing is hurting themselves long term, because they're conditioning their audience that movies release in the theaters and come quickly in at home, right? Really soon, the HD version will be available, which, I mean, let's be real. Onzo Vision exists. I'm going to be, if I need to really, really see a movie and I don't want to pay for it, I can do it. Now there's a beautiful, glorious 4K version on a website somewhere that's for free. That is a long-term problem. And even though this movie would benefit by going straight to digital really quickly and they can like make up the millions, in the long term, you're really teaching your audience about how this theatrical window is short, and they'll consider that every other time a movie is out, and they got to decide whether or not they're taking the kids to it or not.
Exactly, 100%. Jay says, I have 3 kids, 1 autistic, 2 ADHD. I absolutely do not want to do that. LOL. Yeah, and you see the struggle as well. Daddy, you being a family guy, you know the struggles, right? My daughter, thank God, is older, 17 now, so, and she likes horror movies, so we don't see that kid shit anymore. She's like, Dad, I want to go see the new slasher. I'm like, I'm so proud of you. But anyways, that is the point. That's Dad's girl. But anyways, but you know what I mean, right? Like,
well, yeah, I only take my grandkids to see like the Marvel movies, the DCU movies, because the other stuff, go ask your mom. I'm not going there. And the only reason is I'm just not. And the reason why, it's kind of selfish, because I like the Marvel and DC movies, and then I'm trying to educate them and get them into it, because, and my oldest grandson, he's like a Star Wars fanatic. So that suits my particular taste in movies. So I don't mind bringing them along. But all the other stuff, I feel like it's a waste of money, especially when I've taken them to movies in the past that wasn't in that particular genre. And I can't enjoy the movie because one of them's fidgeting, and he's playing, and he's dropping stuff, and Grampy, where are we going? Is this about over? No, I told you before the house it's going to be 2 hours. So why are you asking me something I explained to you specifically before you left? So I totally get what Jay McCarthy is saying. No, I do not want to do that. But if it's something that I want to see, kind of like what Chillmonger said, then I can kind of make a concession and be like, "Come on,
When does
let's
the
go."
fidgeting?
Huh?
When do they fidget? Is it the hour and a half mark where they're
That
like,
man,
hey,
it'll be like
oh, be done by
if
now?
if it's something that they think's going to be good because like they see the commercial, but it's not good as they think. Oh my God, it's like
Oh yeah, kids are the
King
realest
Kong
critics.
and Godzilla. I was into it, and my youngest grandson, Daddy, we're gonna leave. We're gonna leave. We're gonna leave. You not see Kong is kicking butt. We're not leaving no time until this is over. So that's
Deborah, go
that's
ahead,
what I have to
start
go through.
laughing. What up, Deborah? Good to see you here. PB, what do you think about as far as the movies go, and do you think that there is a problem in the film industry other than just these surface level things that are being brought up?
I don't know if it's actually a problem with the film industry. It sounds like it's a theater issue because
I
they're
mean, yeah,
obviously they're not going to budget $150 million and expect to totally bomb at the box office, and that happens. But we have no idea how much money the movie is going to make off of any and every streaming service that it's going to be on. And they obviously put that into their numbers nowadays.
that's another thing I want to talk about. Thank you, PB. Is that a lot of movies that people say are bomb or they're a complete flop, they find new life on streaming, or numbers, or being brought. The sales, digital sales, actually go towards the fucking sales. They're calculated in the figures. And here's the shitty part, because I worked at the theater, right? What's easier for the company, because they're only getting a certain amount of the profits of the theaters after a time, but they're making more profits and seeing all of that money if you're buying it off of like an Amazon, or if you're seeing it on a service because they licensed it. So now they're getting 100% kickback. And now I'm going to put my tinfoil hat on for a second. What if it's just more profitable? Because we talked about, why are they cutting off the windows? What if they're seeing something we don't see? What if it is actually more profitable being streaming, because now they're seeing more of the profits? And then look at that thing between Disney and Scarlett Johansson. Clearly she saw something we didn't either, because Disney got fucking sued by her and lost, but she had to have won for a reason. So what kind of profits did Black Widow actually make? This makes you go back through and really question everything, right? Are they actually seeing more profits on these streaming services? Are they seeing more of the return on the revenue, and they're getting 100% of this money, as opposed to having it to share it, to lease it out to a theater, and then they got to give a little bit back to them, and then they're
What
getting
I've
all
also
of the concessions
That's a very
and
good
stuff like
point.
that.
What I've also learned too is that depending on where some of these films are filmed at, they get rebates and they get discounts and stuff that I didn't know about. So if they're filming, let's say in Timbuktu, they may get, let's just say, 25, $50,000 back rebate because it was filmed this, and this. So if we don't make a certain profit, they get rebates and stuff back. So this is stuff I didn't know until I think Mike was Shifty that sent and just show you the different breakdowns if a movie is filmed in this country versus this country, or if it's filmed this way versus that way. So it may set the budget may be $150 million initially, but with the kickbacks and rebates and stuff, it could bring it down drastically. And what we think is a flop is actually profitable for the company.
And that's what I'm saying. I think, because you don't condition your audience, and we're all looking at this because we're not on the inside, right? We're all looking at this like, man, they're cutting themselves short. They're losing all this money in the theaters. They got this press saying they lost. But we don't know what the fucking numbers are. PV brings up a good point. Like, yeah, we're seeing a loss now, but what are they seeing we don't? What are they seeing from Amazon selling it, from the views that they're getting? Maybe they just launched the fucking 13th streaming service, and now you got somebody who'll go, you know what? I'll get the streaming service and I'll cancel it after this movie, but they still got the fucking numbers. And maybe and that's pure profit, because they still haven't found a way to regulate that. And that's been a big
Yeah.
debate, right? So
But
they're
Zod,
making pure profit off of that.
Zod, you're absolutely correct. If you follow sports, just about every sports broadcaster or analyst got their own stream, their own podcast and stuff, because they found that podcast is more money than being actually on these big channels like ESPN, FSN, that kind of stuff. And now they found that new revenue stream. And if you follow, like I follow Shannon Sharp, man, he is killing it on Nightcap, and he's killing it on Club Shay Shay. He's tapping to that stream, like you said, that money stream, that revenue
Direct to
stream
consumer.
that they haven't been able to regulate yet. But you better believe old Uncle Sam and his boys, they're in the lab. They're gonna find some kind of way.
We got people. Well, this is a debate for another day, but really quick, we got fucking congressmen without.
No, it's a debate for another day that I'll hopefully be there for, but I gotta go now.
All right, I'll see you later, my co-host, everybody. The bearded wonder, the second in command, the extinct ginger shall be back. He's got to go.
Endangered, motherfucker, not extinct.
Okay, I'm sorry, endangered. He's like,
Thank you.
Like fucking Cog. He's got to go and fight Godzilla now. He'll be back though.
Okay, it's nice to meet you, Danny.
Yes, sir.
See you later, Chill.
Bye.
Keep up the good fight.
Yes.
So,
Recast T'Challa, bitches.
Wow.
So, yeah. So I think there's a lot of different angles. There's a lot of different things and a lot of different nuance. Now, I got 2 more topics left, but the next one is spicy. It's our favorite topic, and I couldn't wait because this dumb bitch comes out of her corner every so often to say something asinine.
Hold on, wait. Does Danny know who Zod is talking about? Because I know.
Talking about Kathleen Kennedy?
Yeah. Variety, guys. Fucking Variety article. I had to break this out, read this for you. Now, this we can agree. Pandering, woke, whatever you want to call it. She's the reason why. She was the initial fight that everybody originally took up arms in. And I want to keep that torch burning. Let's not forget that we need this woman to be fucking. Can we bring back the days they used to like fucking. No, I better not say that live. Never mind. I'm going to restrain myself. I'm going to hold back my comments. But I would not be sad if something happened to Kathleen Kennedy. Let's just say that. But
can you say that? I think you can get away with that one, Zod. I think you can say that. I would not be sad if something negative happened to Kathleen Kennedy.
Like, look, I was in the service, and I'm just saying, waterboarding is an option. I'm just saying. Wow. I'm just going to throw it out there. Waterboarding is an option. I think we can all agree if there's anybody in this
world. Views, comments, and opinions of General Zod are not the views, comments, and opinions of myself and Chillmonger. I'm just saying that out there. I'm putting that disclaimer out there.
Maybe we should read the article.
So, Kathleen Kennedy. Lucasfilm boss Kathleen Kennedy says a lot of women in Star Wars struggling. They're struggling. There's a struggle with fan attacks because the fan base being so male-dominated. Now, does anybody here on the panel maybe know ladies who like Star Wars? Because I feel like this has been an argument forever, and my mom likes Star Wars, and she's older than me and a woman. Last night I checked. Love you, Ma, by the way. Hopefully you're not watching this because she's gonna fucking wash my mouth out with soap. Hopefully my mom isn't checking this out. My daughter's not a Star Wars fan, sadly, but she does like some DC characters. So a villain tries, but she's into horror. I gotta take my victories where I can. But I know there is a lot of women who like Star Wars out there. And I have heard this fucking argument for years now. And what are you guys' thoughts? Do you think that us toxic males, and toxic George Lucas and all the males who started this male-dominated era, now she's coming in and trying to save us. She's trying to save Star Wars and bring in a new generation because the Force is female.
I never heard of them facing any kind of, she says here, harassment from toxic fans because they were females. They maybe had some kind of pushback because people didn't like their particular character, but for the simple fact that they were females, I've never heard of that.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Joe? Have you gone on to X? Fucking X. That still doesn't sound right. Fuck it, Twitter. Have you gone on Twitter and been like, oh man, I'll tell you what, I was gonna see that new Star Wars movie, but then I saw there was a fucking woman, and I was like, fuck that, bro. Recasting T'Challa.
No, I don't follow those accounts. Sure, of course they exist. Just not some exclusive to woman hatred. Go ask the guy who played Jar Jar Binks. Go ask George Lucas about fan backlash.
Exactly.
There's men who face it.
Yeah, I mean, us fans could be okay. Look, I'm a fan. Comic Chats is fan. We're fans, right? And we can have our little petty moments when sometimes we want something that didn't happen. We get a little salty. Nobody fucking liked Jar Jar Binks. I do feel bad for that guy because it's not the actor's fault that George wrote the character wrong because it was a terrible character. But I don't think like getting mad at the actor solves anything. You could just be mad at the character. But Deborah Cohen here, she says, I like Star Wars. I love Princess Leia. So, I mean, there is... It's not the woman or that it's a black character or an Asian character. It's the writing. The writing is terrible these days. It's god-awful. I can't remember the last good bit of Star Wars I watched.
I can tell you.
It's just poor writing. Andor was pretty good.
Luke Skywalker moment.
I mean, yeah, the Mandalorian season 2.
That's the best. The last. Well, I'm lying. There were some shades of Ahsoka I like.
There were some things in Ahsoka I like too. They mess with the lore. But
the Sith guy, fantastic. I hate that he died. He was the best part of Ahsoka.
Oh yeah, I gotta do that one time.
Balin Skull.
Yeah, it's really sad because that's like circumstance, and you know they wanted to do more with that character.
Don't worry, Zod. He's white. They'll recast him.
Wow.
in a new interview with the New York Times for upcoming Star Wars series, The Acolyte, that everybody's fucking looking forward to, Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy said she is aware that women in the space franchise are often attacked online more than men because of the fan base being male dominated. Female star Daisy Ridley and Kelly Marie Tran certainly faced online harassment from toxic fans when the most recent Star Wars film trilogy was released, and now
I need some receipts.
And now the Acolyte is already being attacked by certain corners of the fandom. And look,
I hate how that's not quoted. Is that what you mean by you needed receipts? Because that was just like an opinion by the person who wrote this article.
The receipts I'm referring to is I need to see these online messages that people are saying these negative things about Ridley and the other lady. I need to see that.
Yeah,
I do know Kelly Marie Tran did, and I've seen videos on it too. She did receive a ridiculous amount of hate, but I've always said I have no problem with her. What's that?
Is that the actress that played Reva, whatever in the
Rose Tico?
Rose Tico. Oh, we all know Rose got some hate, and yes, there was stuff they showed it. There were some emails that they sent to her, and people don't do that. Don't be that person. But anyways, yes, there was some nasty backlash for that. But Daisy Ridley, if stuff did happen, she never said anything. They just kind of put it like she did get, but she's never come out and said anything. You know, there was also nobody like Finn. Where's the fucking love for Finn? Because he got hate, but they always bring up Rose Tico and fucking Daisy Ridley. I don't see dude, Finn got tons of hate too.
Finn showed up in the trailer like this, and that's all it took. What are we talking about? The movie wasn't even out yet.
What? Who is that? Why is he in here?
Huh?
The only one that looks like me that didn't get hate was Billy D. Williams.
It was too early for that.
They said the Phantom Menace headline, known for directing such as Sleeping with People, co-writer from Netflix hit drama series Russian Dolls, is the first woman to serve as showrunner in a Star Wars series. I would have to look it up. I don't believe you.
It doesn't matter though. The producer is Kathleen Kennedy, so like that, the showrunner is a step below that. Like, all right, cool. First showrunner.
I thought Ronnie Howard's daughter was the showrunner, or she just directed a couple of the episodes.
She's just directing an episode.
Okay.
Her show includes major new female Star Wars characters played by the likes of Amandel Steinberg, Carrie Ann Moss, Jodie Turner-Smith, and more.
Carrie Ann Moss looks like a badass in that. I am ready to see her character.
Here's the thing. My issue with this show has nothing to do with the casting. It has to do with the fucking story. I hate the High Republic bullshit. I think it messes with a lot of things in the Star Wars universe. I don't like the way they're choosing to use the canon. My issues are canon related. It has nothing to do with the casting. I already didn't like this concept because of the way that I could see the way they're going to manipulate the canon more than they've already fucked it. And they're also going into my favorite universe, which is the Star Wars games. And I love the games Knights of the Old Republic. And there's a lot of talks they're going to allude to things in that. And if you fuck with my boy Revan, I'm going to be kind of pissed. Because they were talking about they were tapping into that with this show. And that he may or may not be mentioned in here. Or they're setting up for something like that. And I don't think the new Star Wars can do Revan now. I would have had faith back in the day. But a Knights of the Old Republic now, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that movie.
I think if they let Favreau and Filoni do it, then they can do it. But
yes,
as long as Kathleen has any input in it, then she's going to try and derail that as much as humanly possible.
Yeah. She doesn't even know who that stuff is, right? So if it does make an appearance, she'll probably be like, no, none of that old stuff, only new stuff. So I think her being in charge.
She go back to stories like what was Darth Bane's apprentice? Zatanna or something like that, wasn't it?
Oh, there was a woman in there, yeah.
Yeah, she'll do something like that, but it'll be watered down. And like Bane was the one that really created the Ruler 2 and brought back the Darth thing. She'll exclude all that now.
Yeah, you'll see like some big hieroglyphics on but like the woman is bigger than the man.
She'll probably, the opening scene will be she killed Bane. You know, like how the apprentice kills the master.
Yeah,
she killed Darth Bane, and then she goes into her rule as the master.
And we only think this way because she is a zealot. It's proven. It's the way she talks. We're looking at the language from this article, which you didn't even read the best part of, where we could like dissect how she inherently believes being male automatically is the answer. It's like there was no context or anything. It was just, male fan base, male dominated fan base. What does that mean? Does that mean that they can't help themselves? Like you didn't explain it. You made it seem like just because being male, it comes with hate. That's just what they do.
And I just wanna kick by maybe a tinfoil theory to you guys, but I feel like here's just my crazy theory, backed up by some historical things in Kathleen Kennedy's career trajectory. I feel like she's been in a male-dominated industry. And we all know Hollywood's fucking corrupt and stuff, and I blame them, and you're the reasons why we're dealing with this bullshit now. I've always maintained that. But I feel like she's had bad interactions with males. She's been snubbed on career opportunities. So now she's self-projecting onto Star Wars all of the bullshits and the time she's got snubbed and the time George Lucas or Steven Spielberg wouldn't look at her project and all of this other shit. And she's projecting it like every male in the fucking world operates like Hollywood.
But what contradicts that is that George Lucas signed off on her and gave her a big push into that.
But have you heard the history between her and Steven Spielberg? And there's a lot of like low-key things that like she feels like he took some of her ideas. There were some things like he he snubbed her for promotions and things like that. There's some like deep seated resentment. And I think when she got her hands on this thing that was by George Lucas, who is a friend of Steven Spielberg, she said, now I can get my revenge for all the times I got fucked over and fuck this project into the ground. Not knowing that none of these people don't give a shit. And like Steven Spielberg and George Lucas are friends, but that doesn't mean he gives a shit about his project. They were just friends for years.
He already got paid $4 billion. I wouldn't care either.
George doesn't even care. George is not a beats. Everybody's saying, what does George feel? Let me just break your illusion. Like, look, I love George Lucas. We all love George Lucas. But let's not pretend like he didn't fuck up the franchise himself from time to time, okay? Let's not pretend like he didn't make missteps either. The difference is he was a better creative mind and he had better stories to tell, but he did make missteps too. The difference here is that these people are not creative. They're not talented. And they're driven solely on an audience that doesn't exist. There isn't this cry from a fan base who's screaming out for all of us toxic males on this panel and going, I need a Star Wars for me. There's too many males. I love this female-led Star Wars. It's just the greatest thing since sliced bread. That doesn't exist. The fan base isn't out there. You are alienating both man and woman, male and female. You're alienating both sexes by trying to specifically hone in on one. It's an oxymoron at work in front of our eyes for how many years now? How many goddamn years have we been talking about this?
That's why it's important, because it's been more than just the 3-movie trilogy with Rey in charge. So there's also Ursa, Jyn Erso. Then there's also, when everything was on break and hiatus, the first movie she was going to come back with was another one with Rey. Then it's like, holy, okay, what is with this woman thing? When all of your movies, that, with the exception of Han Solo's movie, are going to be female. Now we know that there's been some fighting. Jon Favreau's Mandalorian movie is going to get precedence before the Rey movie. I guess there was some backroom fights that happened that resulted in that. Yeah. You're watching the same WDW Pro videos I'm watching, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah. Yeah, there was there. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I'm always keeping up on my cowboy hat.
But it's very unbalanced. It's quite unbalanced. I wish that, you know what it would be awesome if she did do, right? Leave Star Wars, and now she creates her own franchise, female lead with a sister, and there's other females in the franchise that also get movies afterwards. You can do that, use your name and brand, and have a successful girls franchise that doesn't impede on Star Wars or any other known thing. I would commend that, but she's not going to.
I don't think she could.
Here's a fucking secret, and I'm not trying to be a prick. I'm not trying to sound like an asshole here, and don't take this offensively. Women who might hear this isn't a slight, but there's no fucking base for it because they don't have creative talents, and no one wants to see that shit. Let's be real. Let's just put our cards out on the table. Nobody wants to see that shit unless it's well written. Now, let me give you a story I saw.
Okay, Barbie though.
Barbie's an anomaly. I can't explain Barbie.
Fine.
I will give them credit. It was entertaining. And look, the base is built in. Look at the fan base for Barbie. Were any of us playing with Barbie as kids? Were you? No. And what did they do? I would argue that is how you do that kind of manipulation the right way. Because the fan base was inherently built in as a female fan base. That is smart marketing. I have no issues with that. You know what? Good for them. They finally fucking did it right. They catered to the audience that was there, which proves our point. There was a base for Barbie to be watched. Now all the other bullshit and the poor boyfriends being dragged to that's a discussion for another day. And those online things like, if you don't watch Barbie, you're sexist. That shit was stupid. But I totally respect that move because once again, it was to that fan base, and obviously there were people who wanted to see it. Look at the fucking Barbie movies on Netflix. Do you know how many people watch those kids, little girls and shit who watch all those Barbie's Magical Princess, Barbie's Magical... There's a market for it. So yeah, chill, I agree. 100%. But what I'm saying is Kathleen Kennedy doesn't have any good ideas. And when I say there's no market for what she's selling, I don't mean for female-driven stories. I mean for what her idea is for a female-driven story, which is putting males down and all of this other shit to try to one up. And look, that is not how you market these kinds of things. If you want to be about equality, what does equality mean? It means that you find ways to make people equal without degrading one side or the other. And that goes both guys and women, right? What is a true, like, with people who are fighting against sexism and stuff, the real deal fight, right? It's being on an equal level with your partner. It's just like a relationship, right? If you go home to your wife and you say, guess what? Because I'm a male, I'm just a fucking man. I'm the best. You know, get in the kitchen. What do you think's gonna happen? I'll tell you what'll happen at my house. Yup. Your couch says, I'll tell you what's gonna happen. She's gonna say, "Oh yeah, cook yourself some goddamn food and go think about what you did." And there'll probably be a slap and a couple of yelling and how hard I'm working. And while you're sitting playing fucking video games, what am I doing? My back and ass and everything hurts. Okay, I'm projecting a little bit, but you guys get the idea, right? Say that shit to the person you say that shit to the person you love, and you tell me that that's how reality works. And that's my problem with these projects. They seem to think that like normal adults who are in healthy relationships, who are with normal and brain functioning individuals together, guys and women who are together, and people who are partners, we know to be equal. We already knew this, and that's the problem. They're pushing something that doesn't exist. And this all started when the scandals in Hollywood broke, when all those males were getting accused. That's when, in the Me Too era, and when all that started, that's when Hollywood overcorrected. And it's been an ongoing problem. And it had nothing to do with us. It had to do with Hollywood itself. It's always been a dingy, nasty, dirty, fucking disgusting place. And they want to project and say, oh, look at us. We're not this way anymore. You're the sexist. You're the racist. You're the whatever. And it's Hollywood. It's been Hollywood for fucking how long? Since the fucking 50s? They've been racist, sexist, fucking, there's been rapes and druggings and all sorts of crazy shit there. But now they want to just throw it on the fans. That's just my theory.
Speaking of this overcorrecting, though, you know who hasn't been held accountable? The women who did benefit from the relationships with Weinstein. They're just
no one ever talks about that. Thank you.
No.
I didn't want to say that. Thank you. I'm glad someone did. Nobody talks about the people who benefit. Like, casting couches were terrible, but we never talk about the people who didn't help the person knowing that it was going on. How many? You telling me they had this whole setup and no one knew? That other women didn't know? And me and Bitchy have talked about this, and Bitchy is a female, in case anybody wants to come at me in the comments. She's even said what's worse to her is not only the person who does what they do, but the person who's a woman who watches it and doesn't say anything. And I thought about it and I go, yeah, that's really fucked up, because you know your colleague had something happen to them. You didn't say anything because you knew your position was going to be in jeopardy. And as a matter of fact, some people benefited off of not saying anything. But nobody wants to talk about that side. It's always, no, people are sexist. You guys are the sexist, racist one. It's like a bad fucking
You literally
projection.
just explained Leslie Headland, the close personal assistant of Harvey Weinstein.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God, yeah.
And Deborah says that I just think Hollywood could do better than a Barbie movie. Fine, you know, we could do something more creative. That's where Kathleen Kennedy comes in. You know, she's been the producer over at Star Wars for 12 years. And now with all that Lucasfilm president energy, she can do her new. It'll be called Kathy, you know. It'll be all the pink that Barbie had, but instead of blonde hair, it's brunette.
And someone agrees. Jim Phantom says, you do know Leslie Headland, the showrunner of The Acolyte, was Jill. And I
Jennifer
agree.
Lawrence. I'm looking at you, Jennifer Lawrence, and I see a lot of your early movies have Harvey Weinstein there, and we know like young starlets got started. So I'm just saying.
I didn't want to say that, but yeah, Jennifer Lawrence is a prime set, and like, look,
Allegedly.
I think Jennifer Lawrence is a great actress, but I've heard her
Yeah.
fucking views and some sideways shit she said, and I just want to say, everybody has had that far reach. And here's the thing too that nobody else talks about that really pisses me off about this whole thing too. There are also male victims here too.
Yeah.
It is documented that there were men who also had things happen to them. And why don't we ever talk about them as well?
Because they
I
could
mean,
have knocked the guy out and said no. Because I can put myself in those shoes. I'm not worried about being overpowered. It's just really like pressure with my job, and there was no way I would get on. I would do what had to be done. There's no way I would do it.
There's no way. Well, we could say that, but nobody knows the situation that's going on. You know, maybe they need to help their family out. Maybe they're out of options. I mean, who knows? I'm just saying.
I'll be an
Or
Uber
maybe they were
driver.
drugged. Because if you watch that show, Baby Reindeer on Netflix, which everybody go check that out. It's a great show. That dude was drugged, and not only drugged, but he was videotaped when that happened, and he tells about it in his story. And you know, dudes can get drugged too. It don't matter if you're 300 pounds and have a ton of muscle. You get drugged, and there's not much you can do to fight it off unless you're used to that stuff. And yeah, you know what I mean? There's shady shit that happens, and I'm just saying that Hollywood itself is a cesspool of greed, vanity, hubris, and I just think that all these directors and all these people in general need to just take a look in the mirror before they start pointing it at us. Like, yes, are there sexist people on the internet? Of course. Are there racist people on the internet? Yes. Are there people who are just riding angry trends? I've discussed it pretty much this most of the stream. But you need to look at yourself before you judge us. And I got one more story, and it's a feel-good story because I don't want to go on for too much longer. But before I bring this story up, I want to talk about my hero, and you guys are going to like him because he is an Avenger. And he's a personal hero of mine. I bet you guys didn't realize he's a real-life Avenger. Jeremy Renner. Last year, I covered a story about how this man got injured saving his little nephew from a snowblower. It got out of control. He pushed the kid out of the way, got ran over, and was in the hospital for a couple of months. He did some real Hawkeye shit. And then he had a long road to recovery. And just when I thought he couldn't reach his saint status any quicker, Jeremy Renner came out and he talked to Vanity Fair about why he hasn't returned to Mission Impossible. And what did this good, wholesome, just real life superhero say? Jeremy Renner left Mission Impossible franchise because it required a lot of time away and he had to go be a dad. But he's open to return. And I want to cover this as a nice little feel-good story because I've been covering Jeremy Renner a lot more, and I've been looking a lot into him. And the more I look into him, the more it's good for me sometimes to cover people who aren't complete assholes every now and again, to give me a hope in this world. And every time I come across a Jeremy Renner story, it's always fucking positive. So I wanted to share some positivity with you guys and let you know that we really do have a real life Hawkeye. He might not have the strength of the Hulk. He might not be a super soldier like Captain America. But he's a goddamn real life hero. And I wanted to highlight him because I think it should be highlighted when we get real stars who come out and say wholesome things. Like, how many people do you know would leave a $1 billion franchise because they want to go spend more time with their kids?
But he's saying he's open to return.
I mean, yeah, the kids are older.
Do you
like,
think now
know,
maybe he could be maybe not physically as fit as he need to be? That he's just using this as an example, or as like a smoke screen kind of thing?
Uh-huh.
I mean, I do think because he got ran over by a
snowblower. It messed him up pretty
definitely
good.
Yeah, he's definitely not 100%. But and you know what? I'd be fine with that because of the context behind that. Like, even if he's using it as a smokescreen, I truly hope he gets it because like, look, I know it's a family member's and whatnot, but how many of you would put yourself in place? And it wasn't for his okay, it was like his nephew or something. He pushed out of the way. And I'm not saying we wouldn't. We don't know what we do would be in the situation, but
There could have been
that's
some
a pretty
alcohol in there. There could be some secrets they're keeping in the family, like of what led to that. They could be spicing up the severity of this. This is Hollywood. There's a lot of spin that could be going on.
Yep.
I mean, but I seen the aftermath. I mean, yeah, like yes, but it was like a year ago, and I feel like everything would have come out that would happen. Like if it comes out 2 or 3 years later, I'm wrong. I'll eat my words. But for right now, I see him as a hero. Eh, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but like seeing a snow plow coming down a hill, going towards, and you don't even think, you just push the kid out the way and get hit by it. Like, I don't know. It's still to this day, you have to have a real life, some kind of something in you. You know what I mean? Like, at all of his interviews, even too, when you hear him talk and stuff like that, he seems like a humble, nice dude. And hearing this story just confirms what I believe. Like, what do you guys think? Do you think that Jeremy Renner may, in fact, be a real life Avenger?
No, man. Do I think he could be a real life Avenger? Everyone has their highs and their lows, but there's a news story out there about Jeremy Renner. I don't think you were aware of, from like 4 years ago, about how his wife at the time said he was leaving drugs at the countertop where the kids could, you know.
I mean, but okay, I will actually, to be honest, I think I might have heard something like that, or there were talks, even when he was doing the Bourne Legacy, there were talks about that too, as a matter of fact.
I'll just say I don't know, and I'm happy. You're asking me a big question about whether he's a superhero in real life. I can't give him that, but I also can't also give him everything his wife said was true, and it was a divorce, right? So I don't know where I stand with this. Sure, it's possible, and I like to see the light in people. Fine, let's give it to Jeremy Renner. Save that little boy or that little nephew. Yeah.
What do you think, Comic Chat?
I guess he's away.
He has to contemplate how awesome Jeremy Renner is. I get it. It takes a lot.
I'm sorry, I had to stop there for a minute. But yeah, I definitely think that it sounds good, like you said, and I've never heard anything negative about him. I've always heard a little bit I have that he's a stand-up guy, but a little spider sense is telling me that maybe he's not up to par physically, and like he should be, and like he wants to be, and maybe he's taking his time to step away. Yeah, like PB said, two things can be true. He is spending time with his family, but he's also getting himself back physically straight. So
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that. I think it's cool.
Yeah,
And
and
not,
I mean, and what you said could be true, Chillmonger, but I had next too. And I could tell you she said some foul shit about me. Now, 50% of it was true, but there was 50% that wasn't true. So I'm going to say, like, could it be true? Yes. Could he be hiding some dark things? I mean, yeah. We don't know Hollywood stars' personal lives. I mean, look at Robin Williams. Everybody loved him. He had some dark shit going on in his life. But that doesn't change my opinion of me always being happy and just loving the energy he put out into the world.
Yeah. Like The Rock. We all love The Rock, but we know that he would try to get his matches done a certain way back when he was wrestling, and even in his Hollywood career, he's got a little bit of backstage politicking also.
Oh yeah, can't get beat and all this kind of crazy stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, and I could still go back through and watch a Rock match and appreciate the wrestling portion, but I feel like I can appreciate the human portrait, because even when I seen like interviews for Avengers or Endgame or things like that, he never talked politics. He always talked about the movie. He always talked about how great it was working with his coworkers and things like that. And I appreciate that in this age of Hollywood. Because you don't get a lot of stars like that who just want to talk about a movie or have anything nice to say about the people they work with. it makes me feel that when Hollywood used to have its fake facade, and in some ways I miss that, because I didn't have to hear all the side bullshit. It was just, yeah, I do a movie, and you can make up your own story and like who you want to like. And now they want to fucking tell you everything they're doing, and it's like, I don't care. I want to hear about the movie. Maybe talk about some funny set stories. I don't give a shit about your platform. And I think that's where a lot of problems are, and that's why I had to highlight this. But anyways, he said, could Jeremy Renner's Mission Impossible character, William Brannett, be back in action? In a new interview with Collider, Renner, who also starred in 2011's Ghost Protocol, which was great, I love Mission Impossible, and 2015's Rogue Nation, alongside franchise star Tom Cruise, reflected on his decision to leave the franchise and hinted that he would be open to returning. I suppose to do more with them, Rainer said, of the Mission Impossible cast. I love those guys. I love Tom so much. We had so much fun, and I love that character a lot. It requires a lot of time away. It's all in London. I had to go be a dad. It just wasn't going to work out. However, nearly 10 years have passed. Renner said he would jump at the chance to reprise his role as Brennett. Maybe now that my daughter is older, that could happen, Renner told Collider. I'd jump into Mission Impossible anytime and back into Brennett. It's great. At the end of Rogue Nation, Brett decided to retire from his career in the Mission Impossible force. But unlike some Mission Impossible characters, Brett left the franchise alive, making his return even more likely. The untitled 8th Mission Impossible film, currently slated for a 2025 release. Yeah. Though it was originally thought to be the last of the franchise, Christopher McQuarrie, who has directed the last 2 films, stated last year that future installments are on the table. Renner, perhaps best known for playing Hawkeye in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, has made a triumphant return to acting after a snowplow incident in 2023 left him with blunt chest trauma, 30 broken bones. He is currently starring in Taylor Sheridan's Paramount Plus series, which is amazing. Go check it out. Mayor of Kingston, great fucking show, and it's on its 3rd season. So that's my shit. It's a great show. Go check it out. But yeah, I don't know, and maybe the injury thing got me. Maybe I'm a sucker, but I love an underdog story. I love a comeback story. I like that it's with a dude who seems chill. And I would really like to see, his career get back on track, because, dude, I don't know if you heard about that injury, but he should have been dead.
Yeah, I heard it's very extensive. And I agree with everything you said. He seems to be a good fella, and I'm hoping that what he's the reason he's going back is, in fact, the fact that he wants to be a father for his kids. That's definitely something you don't see a lot of now. But the idea of that maybe he's hurt. I don't know why that's steady sticking in my craw. Is what I really think that maybe partially motivated him as well. Maybe he saw that he couldn't do what he once could do, and then maybe he, sometimes the mind still wants to do it, but the body can't, so to speak. So maybe it's something that he has to get over, and maybe need some time away from this whole hustle and bustle to try and get his mind straight. So sounds like a good thing.
I agree, 100%. These are all possible scenarios. I didn't break 30 bones in my body, so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. You never know, especially with those kinds of injuries. And I'm gonna go to the road of wisdom philosophy, because I know, you got that spiritual angle. Me myself, I am a Christian, and I do believe you have moments in life. And I've told this story on the channel, but when I was in the service, I had a moment where I should have died. Now, people, you could call it a dream, a hallucination, however you want to view it, but I see it as sort of a sign. I was in a field of bodies. I was being pulled down into this pitch black darkness, and a light pulled me out of that darkness. And afterwards, I went to church. And why I tell this story is because I do think that sometimes you're being watched over. And you can't tell me someone who breaks 30 bones and punctures their lungs and nearly dies doesn't have some kind of guardian angel
Yeah,
or something watching them.
it's called
And
favorite. He has it.
and I I would like to think that you have to be a good person to have something like that watching over you. And I want to see people like that who seem genuine, nice, and sincere actually have things happen. And it always seems in this business when you have these nice actors or these really cool people, they always pass early or something messed up happens. I get tired of that, man. I want to have hope. I want to have hope. I want to have love. I want to have some joy, man. I want to have some positivity sometimes when I talk about Hollywood.
We got to believe the official narrative. That's it.
Sometimes I want to believe the official narrative, Chill. Sometimes
Yeah.
I want to believe that we can have some good role models because to kind of wrap everything up before I get your guys' final thoughts, I'd like to believe that, and this is more for you, Comics Chat, because I know we're slightly older, but I remember there was an age in Hollywood where you could have heroes and you could have people to look up to. And I hate this feeling of that illusion being broken. And I know it's an illusion. I'm an adult now. I'm older, but it's nice to have heroes. It's nice to have these things. This is why we talk so passionate about the things we love. It's gotten us, and in ways it's shaped us to the individuals we are today. It's shaped our core values and what we believe in, along with our parents, and then things we've watched and things that's influenced us. They've shaped us into the people we are today. And I hate to see that going for people like my daughter or these younger kids. I feel like they're losing that, man. They're losing things we had. They're losing things to have an interest in. They're losing people to look up to. You know,
Well, the thing is, like, when people live long enough, they stop being the people to look up to. I can name examples. Hulk Hogan.
yeah.
They tried to get Regis Philbin, but I think he escaped everything without. You got to wait for them to die. Basically, is what I'm trying to say.
And I think that's sad. But Comics, what do you think? Because I mean, don't you feel the same way, man? Like we're losing people to have. And you have your mom and dad, and you should listen to them and look up to them and whatnot. But I think it is healthy to kind of have that thing to look up to like we did, comic book heroes and things like that. And to have those things,
I think
it
it's
builds
very.
character.
I think it's very important. But it goes back, and I'm going to do this one quick. The Bible in the book of Ecclesiastes, it says pretty much. I'm paraphrasing that. For much wisdom comes much sorrow, and that always like, how can you be sorry if you know a lot about it, you accumulate wisdom. The very thing that we're on right now is being used for good because it's connecting you. You're in the Midwest. I'm in the South. Chill's in a different country, and we're all talking and able to communicate. That is knowledge, and that is something that we didn't have back in 20, 40, 50 years ago. But there's always some angle, or there's always some element of perversion. And when things are perverted, then we get stuff like this. One of the biggest heroes, and I say this on my video, I was a TD Jakes fan. I mean, I listened to his sermons. I listened to everything he did. I thought that he was taking the right steps. And when I found out, probably about 2 months ago, when I first initially heard it, man, I was spiritually shook for a minute. And my mom and dad taught me, it's like, yeah, you can't put all your faith in a man, blah, 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 and that kind of stuff. And then as more stuff came out, I was like, man, and to me, that took a big hit on that particular part of that belief, because there are a lot of people now that are teeter-tottering on good and evil. And I think that maybe was something that pushed them maybe more to the evil or the disbelief or the whatever unfaithfulness or the lack of faith, I guess is the correct terminology. And it's just sad because I remember looking at all these different heroes, even fictional and non-fictional, and looking at them with such reverence and such awe. And now, man, it's really a blow to you, to the ego, to the emotional part, to whatever is a building blocks of your character. When you see someone that you put so much faith in, or a part you see you put so much faith in, and you see that it was all a sham, and that is very disheartening, and it's sad.
With the internet age, it doesn't take as long anymore to get a guy or figure out someone is a little bit off. Let me use Tiffany Haddish as an example. Eventually time
Oh
caught up to
yeah,
her.
I
Yeah.
heard about that. She got
Did you hear what she
and
said? Did you hear what she said? Just like what came out from some. Never mind. Never mind. But my main point is just that we'll learn about these guys' shadiness before they can reach their 40s. Aubrey Graham, Drake. I don't call him. I don't call him by his stage name. But these things, you know.
So do you think with technology now we've kind of given up something by advancing ourselves, like Comics Chat I think it largely alluded to? We've given up something with gaining this knowledge. And there's several parables and stories about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can use Icarus, you could use several things in the Bible, all sorts of stuff, but it's always like this thing it's like wanting more knowledge. But the more knowledge you gain and the more we learn, it's kind of like Pandora's box, right? Once you open it, you can't put that shit back in.
Mm-hmm.
It's there, it's out there, and I feel like the internet in a large part has been like Pandora's box. Once we opened it, yeah, we gained all of this knowledge. We got things at our fingertips, but at what cost did we get it? And I know the irony being a YouTuber and, guys, like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. And thank you to my sponsors, moviepalette.com. But same with promo code Zone15. But but at the same time, it is like this double-edged sword. And I think that studying history the way that I have and being a big history buff, I think that it's all in how you choose to use your knowledge and how you choose to take the facts and the information that you hear and which way you choose to apply it. And I don't think that you necessarily have to lose your figures, but you can respect everything they've done in their field. You could still respect their body of work. I mean, depending. There's some people where you got, that's too much. But like, I hear so many people like, oh, I'm going to stop watching this movie now because this person did this. And I don't agree with that. I don't think that people should be penalized. I don't think art and
Ezra Miller.
okay, that's a totally fucking different. Don't get me started on Ezra Miller. That's a totally different thing. And first of all, he's never been a fucking good artist to begin with. He only did one fucking good movie, and that was about Kevin. Other than that, the rest of his movies have been trash. See that new Flash. I can't believe I let PD talk me into watching that. And he only talked me into watching it because General Zod was in it. That movie was hot garbage. But and his acting was no better. I was like, dude, he did not get any better. He got worse. Because instead of one, I had to deal with two.
Like certain parts of it.
That was cool.
But to piggyback on what you said, Zod, the problem is the knowledge. And knowledge is knowing something. Wisdom is knowing how to use what you know. And that's our problem. We have all this knowledge. We accumulate this knowledge at a fantastic rate, but not having the wisdom. The wisdom has to catch up with the knowledge. And once it catch up with the knowledge, and that's when good things will happen. But the knowledge is coming at such a fast pace that we can't keep up. I definitely think this AI is a step in the wrong direction, and it's going to bite us in the butt. I can't tell you when.
Dude, to piggyback off of that, I've been saying this for fucking months. Watch Terminator. James called it. What the fuck are you people doing? Watch Terminator. You're going to fucking create Skynet, and we're going to be in some shit. I say, like, James was ahead of the time. He fucking dude, Terminator's coming.
And if that, it's Ultron. Look at Ultron.
Oh, you can point that shit AI. You think that's ever been AI? One AI movie where it turned out okay.
There is none.
You can't. You can't give me
No.
one movie where there was an AI something and it didn't go off the rails.
Hopefully, if it does happen, and this is gonna sound real selfish, man, happen after our generation is gone, because this.
I want to be passed away because I want to be like, I tell my daughter, I'd be like, look, if you get a phone or starts talking to you, watch any movie that never turns out well. Don't, because like you said, computers are cold and calculating. You give it too much knowledge, and good God help us all. But I want to add a positive note. Jeremy Renner, great guy. Hope for the best. Hope that he gets back into Mission Impossible. And Comics Chat, to your point, I hope that this isn't some kind of like him trying to reclaim his glory, but I hope this is like a step like him acknowledging he's ready to take those roles. You know, maybe slow it down or whatever, but maybe he won't be that quick action guy he was, you know, back in the day, but maybe he could evolve and work around his limitations and still do what he loves to do.
He could develop that fadeaway like Michael Jordan did. Michael Jordan came out a beast, but he, as Father Time touched him on the shoulder, he developed different things. Fadeaway. So he need to go practice his fadeaway.
Dude, okay, I'm gonna stop you right there. AI, that movie terrified me. I still think that's a horror movie. I'm sorry, I love Haley Joel Osment, but that movie scared the shit out of me. I don't think it was as great. And that movie had a lot of heavy themes. I'm still gonna say no. I think that there's an extended cut, and he went off the rails, and he took control of nukes and destroyed the world. That's my headcanon, anyways. But no. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I really appreciate you. I'm going to go around the table, let everybody say their channels and things that they could look forward to, and we're going to get the hell out of here. And I want to thank you guys for joining me on my 2-hour epic return. And I roasted a lot of channels, but just so you guys know, I say these things because I think we do a balanced podcast here. And the biggest thing that upsets me is that I think people deserve to have the information presented in a non-biased fashion. I'm a fan of the old style of journalism. That's why I started doing this. Like, I wanted to do an old school late night talk show where you had segments and stuff like that, and they just presented things to you. They told a joke and they made you laugh. And I hate to see YouTubers exploiting people's lack of knowledge on topics. And if I can bring a different perspective, I think that that's valuable. And hopefully you guys enjoy it. So Comics Chat, what do you have coming up? What you've schooled us with a lot of wisdom tonight. Like, I feel 20 times wiser.
Well, I appreciate it. I got a little channel called The Road to Wisdom. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 7 a.m. is when I release my video. And I'm on a lot of different channels. I'm on Storms Live on Sunday nights. I'm also on the Hangout on Wednesday nights. That's Guy Scar's channel, the Hangout. And sometimes I'm on the OC, which is Anzo Hodges' channel. And then sometimes Chill invites me to his shows, sometimes on Saturdays. So I'll try to be a little bit of everywhere. But I definitely enjoy the invite. I see Power Book 2, Season 3, the final season is coming up. So if you ever want to chop that up, I'm definitely available. As always, you know, I'm liking Tommy, and I'm hearing some rumor that they're thinking about bringing Ghost back.
I don't know how I feel about it. Yeah, we definitely got to talk because I think that would cheapen what happened in the final season. But yeah, I feel like that's a stream for another day. We definitely got to get back on to another power stream because my boy Tommy, we all knew he was the baddest. I was telling people, remember I was saying it for years. Yeah. I was saying it in our things. I was saying Tommy was the man. He was going to be the successor. He was always the big brain.
I like him. I like him better in Chicago than I did in New York.
He's definitely up his game.
Yeah, he's a beast. He's a beast in Chicago.
Oh yeah. It's dangerous when you take the philosophy of Ghost and the motivation of Tommy and put that together.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, he's a beast.
Tommy's no joke. Anyway, you got me on. Yes. I will. Yeah, I mean, we definitely should just do a whole thing and break it down. The the whole show as a.
I'm ready
as a
for the next
whole.
season. I hope Herc can get here.
Oh yeah, I gotta get a whole part too. I know he's watching it. Chill. What you got going on? What's
I don't got what Danny's got and women singing gospel music, but we're still in the same neighborhood of content. You could go to check out the last video I did, which was about Giancarlo Esposito, who has been cast in a villain role for the Sam Wilson movie for Brave New World. And I did a Kathleen Kennedy one also. You can see me be angry for another 8 minutes talking about that also. Chill monger.
Let me ask you one question. Have y'all heard? I don't want to extend it much longer. Two things. Have you heard about Mahershala Ali quitting Blade? Is
heard
that
the
true
rumor.
or is that fictitious?
I heard the rumor.
And
It's
second
not.
thing,
Nothing's
okay.
official yet.
All right. And have you heard that they're developing a Pitch Black 4? What's it called?
Yep. And I heard that's definite like it's like Vin Diesel's funding it. That's what I
am
heard.
so ready to see that.
I am so hyped.
Yep.
Dude, that's I love all of them. I
Riddick.
even like
Riddick 4.
Oh yeah. I am ready for Riddick to return.
I am too. Yep.
Dude, fuck Fast Furious.
One of the most underrated IPs of all time.
Dude, there's got to be money in it because it keeps returning. So much fun.
I think it's profitable. I haven't looked it up.
They're made for dirt cheap. Those movies, the last one, Riddick, was like 60 million or something.
Yeah, I definitely think he's making money.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
And he has it's like a cult following, almost kind of like what's the new remake? I know people don't like it. The Crow. It reminds me of that.
Yeah, I gotta be honest with you. I'm a strong advocate against that movie. I am strongly I think it's highly disrespectful. I did a whole stream on it, but yeah, I got my own feelings because I'm a Bruce Lee fan. But yeah, 38 million was the budget. Yeah, I went 60. That is just cheaper. 38 million. You know that made it back in like a weekend.
Did it make money? The question said, "Did Riddick make money?" What does it say? You hit that.
Box office 98 million. That sounds
good.
Oh man, he like tripled it.
Yep.
Yeah, because he can make those movies for dirt cheap. There's a fan base enough to watch it.
Yep.
And make a triple the return.
And it's not 2 hours. It's like an hour and 30 minutes. It's action packed. Get your good popcorn and you're ready to go. Hey, let's go, Vin.
And it's rated R, so there won't be people running around their cell phones and damn kids. But yeah, I'm ready for Riddick to return. I also got to say too, little preference, my little outro. Thank you everybody for watching. I have I've done reviews all week. Go check them out. I got them under my film. I'm also super proud. I'm doing a Barry retrospective on the whole entire show of Barry, the meanings, the connections to violence, and Bill Hader's excellent acting, directing, and writing. How he is super fucking underrated based on that show. This man should have won an award several times and got snubbed. Just check out Barry or check out my review. I also did a review for Love Lies Bleeding and A Violent Nature. Everything that's come out, I've done a review on. I got a review coming out on everything else coming up. I've got screeners. I have a surprise screener. I'm not allowed to tell you what movie it's for yet, but it might be for a big movie that everybody knows that's coming out, and I got invited to see a screening to it. So I will leave everybody with that, but I'm going to have a review up for a big picture coming out.
Bad Boys 4?
I said a big picture coming out.
Oh, you're wrong.
Don't get me wrong. I love Bad Boys, but let's be realistic. Will Smith's
Wolverine?
Yeah, it could be Deadpool Wolverine, but that's happening in July, though.
I mean, could be Deadpool Wolverine, could be Alien Romulus. Who knows? I was shocked when I got sent to it by the company, but I can't say. I can't tell you. I will be releasing the video in like 2 or 3 weeks, so be on the lookout for that. I can't wait. I'll leave you all with a little mystery. And also, I got my Barry season 4 retrospective coming out. I will be doing a tier list, and then I will be talking about the meaning of that. And then I'm going to dive into a show that's a fucking rabbit hole, Twin Peaks. I'm going to be talking about.
Are you watching Interview with a Vampire?
No, I'm going to be looking into that. I heard it's really good. I just haven't had a chance.
It is season 2. It is very good.
Yeah, I heard it like don't hype it up for me, but is it as good as the movies? Because I heard people saying it's.
I think it's better than movies.
Whoa! All right, man. I'll do a review on it.
And the way they do backstories on Armand.
Oh, that was my boy. I love Armand.
Armand's story is very complex. I don't know who's writing it. I don't know if Anne Rice is showrunning or having direct, but it is very good. It is very good. I don't miss the episode.
I heard the reason why I was interested was I heard Anne Rice does have some say, and that the people who write the show actually refer to her and the books and whatnot. They to keep it in the canon, so that's why I was interested in the show.
Yeah. The actor that plays Lestat, I don't know. I think he's the first time. I never seen him. And the guy that plays Louis is they may be mad because he's black. People be mad about. But it's good.
Here's my thoughts on that when I heard it. You think they're gonna get fucking Tom Cruise to do an Amazon or what is it, AMC? I forgot what it's on, but you think Tom Cruise is going to TV? Yeah, nope. AMC. I knew it was one of those. You think Tom Cruise is gonna go on AMC? They don't count enough zeros to give him in his check. I'm sorry.
But I'm telling you, I think this Lestat is cooler than he is. I was shocked. I was like, man, this is gonna be crap. It's not. It's really good.
Oh, really? Anne died years back. Her son is involved. Well, as long as they're keeping it in canon, and from what I heard, it's following the books in the universe. So I'm good with that. I don't care that they changed him. I mean, personally, Tom Cruise was all right in that movie, but I thought Brad Pitt was pretty good. But
better than Louis, yeah. This Louis is good.
Yeah, the standout for me was who was it who played Armand in the original?
Antonio Banderas.
Yeah, Antonio Banderas. He was the standout for me. Like that, he was smooth when he came out.
Hey, this one they changed him too because he's like an Indian. It's an Indian actor.
I mean,
Hey, check it out, man. It's good. That's all I'm saying.
You know what I'm saying? We can be diverse. But anyways, thank you everybody for watching. Please make sure you go check these guys' channels out. They're great dudes. They all got great content. Go check out Books by Jay. Go show support. She's got a book out. She wrote a book called Meg, which is based on the Greek mythology Meg from Hercules. She wrote a side story on that. She's got a big sprawling story come out. She's a great author. Go check her out. Check everybody out. Thank you guys for watching. And as always, remember, there is only one rule here in the Fandom Zone. Kneel before General Zod.